started. So, thanks for joining me. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you spending time with me. There are so many great teachers out there. I tell you, I am absolutely astounded. Just a few shout outs to KRS. If you're into Vedic astrology, really want to know the star system of astrology, I highly recommend him. He is excellent. He has grown in leaps and bounds on his YouTube channel. Molly McCord, a Western astrologer. Just thank you if she ever has a chance to listen to me, which I doubt. She does her own work, but wow, she's fabulous. I've learned so much just from her demeanor and the way that she comes across in her readings. I deeply identify with. So, just a couple of people that really have impacted my life in regards to astrology as I've gone out there, but always go with what resonates with you. That's most important. So remember this as well. The stars impel, but they do not compel. And Isabel Hickey said that, who wrote the definitive first book on astrology, I would say, that really covered a lot of ground. Phenomenal book. She's an amazing author. And what this means is there may be positions out there that are within your natal chart and also in the big sky. And just because they're there doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be using them in the best way. And it's up to us to have these deeper understandings of our own placements with the outer aspects, along with our own momentum and effort. I cannot say that enough. Momentum and effort must be applied to really grasp the deeper understandings of your natal chart. That doesn't mean that I'm negating when we let go and go into meditation and into that theta subconscious realm where we're really down in ourselves, that answers can't come there. But what I am saying is we don't live there as far as sitting in meditation all day long or having these times of deep grounding by ourselves. We live day to day in that sixth house of Virgo. And we have things to do and people to see and places to go. And so we can't live in that place. We must come out and we must apply. And this is where I come in and I offer a psychological astropsychology, evolutionary astrology, soul astrology, all of those mixed together, perspective. And I just want you to know that everything's going to be okay. And this is all going to work out. It truly is. If we keep our attitudes in the center, we keep our inner lives balanced, we begin to self-heal and take a little bit more interest in our own existence instead of everybody else. And that is what this full moon is really about in Aries. A phenomenal time to be alive with the energies doing what they're doing. So grab your chart, get that natal chart, find out where your 27 degrees in Aries is, and a cup of refreshments and a pen and a paper, and let's get started. The full moons are about releasing and endings and moving on and bringing us into a newer cycle. So the energies here within the chart has been building up for the past 6 months. And the full moon is going to be releasing this yang cardinal energy. It's a very, very, very powerful full moon. And it's going to bring this momentum that's been building to a place of release. And we see this with Pluto going direct this month on the 6th, Saturn going direct on the 11th, that's currently in Aquarius, Pluto's in Capricorn, Jupiter in Pisces moving out on the 18th, and Mercury in Libra moving out on the 18th, meaning coming out of that retrograde where they've been sitting and building and asking you to look, learn the lesson, I'm sitting here showing you, and now we're going to go direct. And when we go direct, there's going to be these releases, and I'm not just saying this, there's a lot of people saying this. We're going to see a release of energies that are going to be a cascade effect. And it's going to take some time, but they're going to start to come. And it's going to be energies about speaking out, standing up for the individual self, and exposure of the hidden secrets and agendas and how they have personally affected people. So this is where you see, we saw the sex scandals where, Jerry Epstein and some of these other people out there that have gotten caught doing very, very despicable acts with minors and thinking they could get away with it. And so we're also, well, let me just say this too. We just saw John Gruden a couple days ago. We know what happened to him, the Raiders coach, where he's just been completely exposed for some of the things that he's been saying. So this is going to be energies that are going to continue like that. You can expect some incredible, and I mean this, exposures that a lot of people are just not even going to believe. They're going to be so horrific. I'm not a doomsdayer person at all. I stay in the center because I want to be used as a channel of light and to be able to speak to the collective. And, I'm just back here eating popcorn, watching the show, to be honest with you. I'm a Scorpio ascendant, so this stuff doesn't faze me one bit. I know where I'm going to end up in the long haul, and I've seen my chart and mastered it, and it's given me a great sense of security, as well as my relationship with spirit, just a great sense of inner peace and calm that all of this is headed somewhere. So this moon is deeply, deeply interpersonal. So before I get into the moon, though, specifically, let's just take a quick review. I'd like you to take a look at this with me real fast. And I'm going to put up in front of you there the last 3 cycles of moons that we have had. And you'll see how this theme has been going back and forth and back and forth. So we've got the new moon in Virgo, and you can see there that that occurred in September, that the 5th house of personal pleasures is opposite the 11th house of groups, others, legacies. Of course, the 5th house is also children and entertainment, and where we have our regality, I would say, because Leo is so regal. He is the king of the wood. So it's where we kind of sit up and take pleasure in ourself as well, which is why we have the 6th house next to balance out all the excess that Leo could have possibly brought in with that sun as his planet sitting there. So new moon in Virgo, all about this back and forth, getting us started to really look at, okay, what's going on in your personal life. And I encourage you can go back and look at my video on the new moon in Virgo, and you'll see the messages that Virgo was trying to bring out, that I need you to look at your body. I need you to look at what you're doing in the 5th house, and I need you to apply practical wisdom in the 6th house, which is where Virgo resides. The next moon that we had was the full moon in Pisces, and that was September 20th. Where we have the 12th and the 6th house. So now we've moved, Virgo has moved us into that 6th house to say, okay, now I'm here. And Pisces was about blowing things up. It was about exposing and showing and saying, look, I need you to really look at the 12th house in your life and the secret things and the hidden things and the isolation and how you maybe are escaping with addictions. This is all the personal body and how it affects other people, yes, but this theme of relationship to self, relationship to others, relationship to the world. I would even beg to say relationship to self, relationship to spirit, relationship to others, relationship to the world in general. We're seeing great shifts and moves. And then the new moon, of course, was Libra, which we just had October 6th. And again, the 12th and the 6th house asking you, please, please look at your daily routines, your body, your mind, what you're doing with your hands on a day-to-day basis. Where are you expressing your energy? Is it equitable? Libra's like, I need it to be equitable. It needs to be other people, yes, but it also needs to be equitable and fair. And that brings us into this full moon in Aries. So the tarot cards, which I'm bringing in this month, for this moon, I'm going to bring them up in front of you and just show you. We have, of course, the moon. So let's bring the moon up there. And you also have the High Priestess card, which represents the moon as well, as that is the ruling planet of that card. So let's talk about the moon for a minute, because I don't think that sometimes we really understand how important these moons are and how they're used in our day-to-day life every single day. And this is card 18 in the major arcana. Reduces to a 9, which means it's an end. We're going to start a new cycle with the next sign, which would be the sun. Okay, so this is the unconscious, the moon, the shadowy self. It can be confusion. It can be our dreamy place where we go. It can be instinctual urges, and it's also our intuition. And the moon really is the card of darkness, illusion, and the unconscious, because the only way that the moon ever gets lit up is when the sun is shining on it. Or not, then we don't see it. So, we do see it when it's full. The sun, of course, is on the opposite side of the chart. And when it is a new moon, we have the sun and the moon together. So the sun is so far away when we have these full moons. So the moon would say to you, look, I need you to pay attention to your intuition and your dreams. And it's asking, what's going on in your innermost parts? Remember, Cancer rules the moon. That is the 4th house of home. So it's really important always to see where's Cancer in every moon, because she is the ruler. Cancer is sitting in the 8th house, a water sign sitting in a water house. Wow. So this is a deeply, I would say, subconscious moon. It's a moon that's like saying, I really need you to look inside, people. I really need you to see what is going on in the deepest parts of your emotional system and in your intuitive nature. Are you using it? You know, the moon's asking us to seek better understanding within ourselves and with others. And remember, this is the number 9. So 9s are completions and endings. And it's a time for looking back over what one has done and wanting to feel secure. The moon's deeply interested in security because it is the 4th house of home, the most intimate part on our chart. And so we are using the Eastern Standard Time, New York positions, because that I am near the East Coast. And this brings that moon right into our 4th house. Oh my. Okay, so this is going to be some people really getting some things square in their homes. I mean, it's been teetering around the 5th and the 6th house, these moons, and it's coming back in, and it's saying, now bring it home. Bring it home. Make it all about active energy. that's cardinal, that's fire, that's about creating and moving out. Remember, the moon is watery and cool. Aries in that moon is fire and cardinal and action orientated. And his planet is Mars. And where's Mars? Opposite side of the chart, across from that moon, behind the sun. So the moon card, always important in these moon readings, new or full. Must know what the moon means. And the High Priestess card, I'm not going to go into her real deep, but I just want to encourage you to take a look at her and understand, what is she all about? And she wants inner wisdom, and she wants you to be spiritual, and she wants you to be receptive. And she's asking you, will you trust your inner wisdom? Or will you trust what's going on inside of you to know through your intuitive nature that you're on the right path? And she is asking us to meditate and to figure that out and to make sure that we are able to trust our inner wisdom and intuition, the sun. And talk about the sun for a minute. Now, the sun, of course, is 19, and that reduces to a 10, which is a 1. Which reduces to a 1, and a 1 is about new beginnings. So, Aries, the first house, is about the body and coming out like that seed in spring bursting through the earth. It's that energy behind the Mars is Aries planet, so it's that energy behind being able to push yourself out. Now, the sun is in Libra. And when it's in Libra, it's considered to be in fall, in detriment, because it's opposite Aries. So we have a cardinal moon, and Libra is a cardinal air sign. Somebody wants to win here. Either it's going to be Aries, which is about the self, or it's going to be Libra, which is about the other. And with the sun in Libra, you've got this need for personal growth of the self, clarity, self-acceptance, and the ego fire yang energy of the sun. Well, Libra operates out of the 7th house, and she's really not as interested in doing her own thing as much as she's about others. And in the tarot, Libra's card is the 11. And this is going to represent these themes of justice and fairness and balance and ethics and law and accountability. You can see how this is this accountability, this exposure, these secret things coming out. You can see how this comes in. It's almost as if her scales are, I see her, coming up and holding them out to the world and saying, accountability, people, accountability. Let's balance the scales of justice inwardly with this sun, thus outwardly. So you've got this Aries deeply personal self energy in the moon that's wanting you to go in and reflect. And then you've got the sun in Libra saying, look, let's make this about taking our energy to make things right in the world, taking our energy to hold people accountable, taking our energy to see this harmony and equality in relationships. And Libra is about catching up to the liars and those that have been deceitful, including ourselves. So this Libra moon is deeply personally asking you, have you been honest? And are you walking in integrity? Where? is this moon in the fourth house and the things in your home. And we know that our home, oh my goodness, home is where the heart is. Home is the most deeply personal place in the chart. And I'm going to bring up in a moment Chiron, that's also sitting in the fourth house there. It's very important to see. So Aries is the emperor. Okay. You can see the difference between Libra 12 and the emperor 4. This is about power and structures and stability. This is strong yang, masculine energy. This is the father. So this is that masculine energy, the father in the home rising up and saying, it stops. We're done. This isn't going to happen anymore. It is calling on the masculine to rise. This full moon is calling on the masculine to rise because Aries in the moon, yes, it can get pretty crazy with the fire and the Mars, but it is a non-emotional moon for the most part. Okay? It's not wanting to really be illogical and irrational and, just deeply emotional. That's not, it can, you've got to look at the whole chart of an Aries. But the Aries, again, the ruling planet is Mars. Mars is a god of war. He's going to be serious about this. He's going to come at this and he's going to be like, release. This is it. Release. Let go. The father showed up. I'm the leader. I'm supposed to be an example. And it's urging stability with the emperor in your life. It's saying, look, I need you. Just like he's sitting on that throne, you can see his stature. Can you please get stable? Get stable. Deeply important there. And with it being in the moon, that's tricky, right? That's tricky. It's the number 4 reduces to the number 4. And we know this is the number of stability and rationality. Very important word. And structure and rules. And it's about self-discipline. Very, very important. It's in the 4th house. So we have the Emperor, who is the 4th card in the Tarot, sitting in Aries energy in the 4th house. This is definitely some great, huge healing and, how can I put this? Rejuvenation and transformation in the 4th house. It's powerful energies in Aries, and you've got Mars, his planet, sitting in Libra at 23 degrees behind the sun, which means it's kind of pushing her forward and saying, come on, you can do it. We can do this. We can get through this time and we can bring about equality. It can happen. And Libra's saying, don't just think about the self. Please think about relating to others. Think about the 7th house. And, take a look at your 7th house in your chart. Be really interesting to see what do you have there. And that might be something that, you've been working on for a while. But the moon in Aries, let's get back to that. This is emotional freedom. And this is an ability to be able to express feelings directly, forcefully, and to take the initiative in emotional situations. So it's calling forth the masculine, the yang energy. Rise up in your homes. Rise up. We need you emotionally balanced. We need you to create a safe and secure home. And with Aries there, some of you can be making this about yourself and not about the family. And it's asking you to do that introspection because Chiron's sitting there. Very, very important. All right, so what I want to do now is just bring up these personal planets for a minute and talk about them. Remember, the personal planets are the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And these are the planets that change rapidly, and these are the planets that are more day-to-day in our lives and easier to address. We'll also address the outer planets in a moment, but I want to get to these inner planets. We've gone over the moon and the sun, and I want to get over to Venus here because this is Libra's planet. And it's sitting over there in the first house in Sagittarius at 14 degrees. So what is this asking of us? Well, Venus isn't in Libra, so she's not home. She's in Sag. How does Venus do here? This gives you, in the first house, this is how you're going to look. This is how you should act. This is how you should be seen. That's what the first house is about. This is how others view you. With Sagittarius, the planet of expansion in the 9th house, this is going to give you some blessing because of Jupiter. Just Sag represents Jupiter, even though Jupiter's not there. Jupiter's moving out of retrograde at the 20th. It'll be out of there by the 20th. So, it's almost like it's saying you can move forward in this first house Venus energy. And it's friendly and positive, but it doesn't like restriction. Huge, huge, huge to note. Venus does not like the restriction in Sagittarius. Venus wants to go out and love and create, and she's the ultimate mother and the ultimate beauty of life and just making things wonderful and harmonious. And, you've got her in Sag. So love is going to be very important here. You're going to want to be open and truthful. This is encouraging you in your creative efforts and in your relationships with Venus to be honest, frank. Sages are known to be blunt and insensitive, so Venus can really spout some stuff off here. You are squaring Neptune. Neptune can bring some fog into this and disillusionment. So you have to be really, really careful. She's going to have a keen sense of beauty here and refinement, and she is going to be pleasant with others. So it's like, look, this is how I need you to be. Again, that deep, deep appreciation here in the first with music and the arts. So it's saying, hey, create beautiful things. Go out there with this powerful energy and start making things beautiful. Make the environment beautiful. Be charming. Be kind. Be nice. Be beautiful. She's sextiling Mercury. Yay. This is positive. Positive, positive, positive. What do we know about Mercury? Let's talk about that a moment. Mercury is in Libra. Mercury is the communicator and how the communication's going to be and the messenger, and is this logical, entrepreneurial spirit. Kind of what's in it for me sometimes. Got to be careful. But Mercury wants that information to get out. And it's sitting there at 10 degrees in Libra. With it being in Libra, it's going to bring a mind that's impartial and is going to be able to look at many points of view. Now do you start seeing these messages come together? This is, if you want to know what spirit, I think, in the universe is trying, and, all those that be out there that are working with us, my goodness, the multitudes, it's showing us how we can be. Diplomacy, meditation here, being able to lead, Mercury and Libra here, socially aware and amiable, and, you're talking and interacting with others in a very refined way because Venus is Libra's planet and it's in the first house. So a double, I need you to think this way, Mercury. I need you to look this way, Venus in the first house. I need you to understand that even though I'm in the 10th house, it's interesting to note where Mercury is there. In the 10th house, and the 10th house things are important to you. Don't just limit it to the 10th house. Don't have it be just about your career and just about your successes and just about you doing you. On the other side of this, Mercury is giving us abilities here in the 10th house next to Libra with Venus in the first and that powerful moon in the fourth of home. It's saying, I need you to come on out into the world and I need you to write about this and journal about this and get it out into the public and communicate on mass levels. The 10th house is where we are seen. It is where we come out. So again, what are we going to see here? Major, major, major things being communicated and coming out that were kept hidden. Mercury's going to help Venus have that pleasant, and Venus to Mercury, have that pleasant personality where your creative intellect and your eye for beauty and artistic design here is going to allow you to bring your talents out in speaking and writing. Very, very important to note that. So we have the sun, we have the moon, we have Venus, Mercury. Let's jump into Mars real quick. Mars is in Libra, as we have already alluded to, sitting at 23 degrees. So with Mars there, bringing us the fire and the passion and the energy to move out. It's going to take that Libra energy and it's bringing it out it's going outward to others. And, Libra likes peace and doesn't like discord. And with Mars here, this can be a little tricky because there can be this push, my way. And she can push too hard. An example of this would be somebody who maybe isn't awake, somebody who is, doesn't really know a lot about what's going on in the current events and esoterically, like, what have the sciences said about all this, and the other indigenous cultures and other areas. And it's not aggressive, so to speak, but it can really push out its own agenda with Mars here. So look out for the ego rising up and wanting it to be your way or the highway. Libra doesn't like that. Libra wants to work together. And so it kind of, air and fire, you've got fighting, speech, violent speech. So you need to be really, really careful with that. There's going to be a lot of fighting in the homes under this full moon. That's not what should occur here. With Mars conjunct the sun, it's giving you that strong willpower of the ego to drive and achieve and push whatever is important to you. And what should be important to you? Look at the other side of that chart there where this moon is, the fourth house, the place of security, the place of home, how you live, how you eat, how you sleep, who you live with, all those things that involve the home. So watch out for aggression and being highly competitive to others. None of that. We need to, maybe we don't agree with people, but I think we do need to allow everyone to have their own choice and their own path, even if we do not agree with it. I love Indira Gandhi's quote, "You can't shake hands with a clenched fist." I really feel like that is true here. With Mars opposing the moon, let's just tap into that a minute. This is going to be a very bold and upright and forthright kind of speech here that can occur, and just rising up and saying, look, I need you to listen. It's going to bring the fighter out in some of you people. So grounding. And at home, trying to rule the roost and, I can just kind of see this yang presence just kicking things around and, slamming doors and, fighting. And, remember, yang it's not just male. Okay. Even though it's male energy, what I mean is we have male and female within each of us. And the video isn't about this. It's my belief, become convinced of it through study, my own study, that male and female reside in each of us. And the capacity to be one way or the other, I believe, is determined by our genitalia and our psychological makeup, okay? So that can mean that someone's psychological makeup isn't matching their genitalia. That's none of my business. That's your choice. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I feel like it's combined together to make up who the person is. That's just my understanding. We love all and accept all, knowing that we can't ever rule over anyone else. We have to let everybody have their own significant path. It's super important. Super important. So, Mars, be careful here. Marital quarrels are very, very likely. Partnership quarrels, very, very likely. The good news there are the trines and the sextiles that I want to bring in now with these outer planets. To reiterate, Pluto went active, and at this point of the reading, we're going to have, by the 20th, we're going to have those 3 other planets going forward. Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury. So Mars is creating a trine here, which is a very positive aspect to Jupiter. And Jupiter is about expansion. Jupiter is about luck, good fortune. It's the jovial planet. There's a lot more I could say about these planets, but I'm just trying to get the general energies out here. But with Mars in Jupiter, this is really going to allow you not to miss this, okay? It gives an uncanny ability for timing and opportunity. So just know that this full moon and your release of just, I am letting go, just let's just move forward. You could have some very significant interactions with people with this Mars trine Jupiter of a spiritual sense. Gurus, 9th house, Jupiter, somebody very significant could impact you because the energy is ripe for this, because Mars is productive and energetic and resourceful in Jupiter, and it can organize super, super well. And it's able to make really quick decisions in Jupiter. It moves. So, again, watch the competition. These can be guru to guru kind of thing, like, no, my way's better. No, my way's better. No, listen to me. No, listen to me. And it's like, no. We must always go with our own voice. I want to say that again. We must always go with our own voice. This is what I'm all about, is trying to help people find their voices and find out who they are and find out what they're designed for and find out, what works for them and blow the fog away and the energetic ties and the traumas and, get the person in a flowing state to then make these good decisions for themselves. Now, the moon is also sextiling Jupiter. So, yay, this is good. This is going to soften that moon a little bit and keep you open-minded and kind-hearted. And, good humor here. Jovial, Jupiter. This is a happy connection here. This is saying, look, I appreciate your emotional honesty. And I really appreciate you coming out and broadening my perspective on inner things where the moon is in Aries. And it's going to help you be more sociable. And it's going to help you, especially relating with women. Probably will be mostly positive. Again, you'd have to look at the whole chart. But for the most part, this is going to be a positive connection. So the sun is also trining Jupiter. So Jupiter's stepping up here and saying, hey, it's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. Truly. I was born with a 9th house sun, so Jupiter is really special to me. And I was, I think just gifted with, despite everything that's happened to me. I always come back to this place of centeredness. I'm very, very fortunate. And I don't take it for granted. It's my nature to do so. Okay? It's how my chart's wired. And it's my emotional makeup that I came in with with the ability to do it. I didn't do it for a long time, but with the ability to do it. So the sun trining Jupiter, this positive connection, this is positive. This is going to give you a healthy outlook on life, okay? A broad generosity of spirit and goodwill towards others and all men. And it's going to those that perhaps are coming across in an Aquarian way. It's going to bring you, which is expanse and, coming out in a scientific way and with rules and logic and communicating and saying, look, I need you to look at the bigger picture. I need you to see the other. Boy, this all fits together, doesn't it? This is the humanitarian, okay? This is humanitarian tendencies and being tolerant and accepting of others' viewpoints, even if you don't adhere to them. Even if you don't adhere to them. It's tolerance and equality, and can be really provocative with revolutionary thinking in Aquarius and expensive. But the key word there, humanitarian. And it's in the second house of security, and where things of a physical nature, our money, our wealth, how we spend our wealth, things that we love, our possessions. It's connected to that second house of Taurus. That is fixed energy, fixed earth energy. Again, this theme of humanitarianism, looking at fixed things, looking at the home and the house and saying, I need you to see this. I need you to see how important this is, in that you move out. You move out in things that are important to humanity and things that are important to the collective. Remember, Jupiter runs Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the 9th house. Very important to remember. All right, let's go to some of the challenges here. There's a lot more that I could say, but I want to look at some of the challenges that show up in the chart. I think that that's really important. So you've got Pluto. Let's bring her in. Hi, Pluto. Okay, so Pluto is still in Capricorn. It has moved out and gone direct. But you got to remember, Pluto stays a very, very, very long time in a sign. It's going to be here for quite a few more years. But this is where Capricorn and Pluto is saying, I'm going to destroy and I'm going to replace structures. I'm going to replace structures that have outlived their time and usefulness. I'm going to transform business and economic systems and political parties and methods of government. Radical changes with Pluto and Capricorn are being executed with ruthless pragmatism. There is no doubt we're seeing this happen. Where's Pluto? In the second house. Okay, we've got monies and possessions becoming extremely important to you right now. So it's a theme here where Pluto's saying, look, I need you, because remember, Pluto is just absolute death, absolute transformation. You are transforming by the time Pluto goes through a house and through your life and through a transit. You are transformed. Pluto does not play. Pluto is explosive, serious energy. And with Pluto in the second house in Capricorn, it's a very serious energy here. And there's a shaking up of what we see as making us secure, where we place our value, where we think things are important that perhaps they just aren't as important as we thought they were. So Pluto is squaring the outer planet that's the furthest away and hard to decipher and hard to understand because it's so far away, is squaring, which is a negative expression, the sun. Okay, with this, you've heard it before in this recording, I'm going to say it again, with this Mars energy and this yang going out, this warrior, Libra's cooling it, it's supporting Libra's efforts, but it's squaring the sun, the ego. It's not easy. And this is going to be a desire to, look, I want my own way. I am my own power. I am my own authority. And I am a force to be reckoned with. I want my own way. And I really have little time for any compromises. Power struggles are very possible with the Pluto squaring the sun. This is really dissolving your ego. And if you don't merge and assimilate into the deeper parts of yourself and do that inner work, Pluto can operate. You know, if you don't transform and you don't regenerate, Pluto can have its way and utterly bring about an event that can transform you, and you won't have a choice. So Pluto is huge. It's my favorite planet. I am a Scorpio ascendant. It is my chart ruler. Much could be said about that. Again, isn't a reading on Pluto. Let's keep moving. Pluto square the moon. Oh boy. Okay, so Pluto's saying, all right, moon, I'm going to make your emotional life pretty challenging. And you're going to have these feelings of intensity, and you're going to feel so deep. So these issues going on in the fourth house of the home with these Aries full moon, Pluto is really firing this up with Mars. I mean, Pluto is saying, I need you to look at your relationships, specifically yang masculine energy at the female, the moon. Power struggles in the home with dominant women that are like, I want it my way or the highway. It's going to be my way. There's no compromise here. No. This is the way it's going to be. So be careful of that. It can be fixations. Pluto is known for this. Addictions, compulsions, and jealousy. Huge. Jealousy. So some of you are going through, it's with women here with the moon, you could have a very jealous spouse, a very distrusting spouse. Now, Pluto is also squaring Mars. Oh my. So this is going to give Pluto, which is its partner planet, okay? It's going to give power. It's going to be like, yeah, express your energies. And it's either going to be positive or negative. It's going to be constructive or destructive. It's willful here, okay, squaring Mars. And it's ruthless. Pluto, people. I feel I should say this. Grounding. You see things that others don't see. I know. I'm a Plutonian too. And it can really overwhelm you. And Mars is giving you the energy with the moon across from it to be completely overwhelmed. Listen, use this Pluto because it's going to give you extraordinary staying power. Remember, Pluto stays until it's done. It's 248 years around the zodiac. You'll never see Pluto return in your chart. Wherever it goes, it does deep, lasting work. So it's going to enable you to look at these things and to push yourself to the limit when required. And to be able to just really sit and say, okay, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm not getting up until it's solved. Now, negatively with it squaring Mars, you've got this desire to dominate and manipulate, okay? Be careful because it can backfire on you big time and cause confrontations and power struggles that you were not prepared for. Injuries, possibly in high-risk situations or environments. So let's be careful out there as we celebrate this full moon. Very, very important. Pluto's also sextiling. Let's just talk about this real quick. Neptune, and it has been since 1940. And it's going to stay sextile to Neptune until 2040. So Pluto's also involved in this super, super long connection to Neptune And Neptune and Pluto are the slowest moving planets. So these aspects, yeah, they're going to go on for a long time, and they are very collective. So this is about this whole transit with these two planets in sextile. This is about accentuating spiritual awareness and development in mass. And literally, if you were born, during the time of the sextile, 1940 to 2040, that's a lot of us, right? This is a generation that is going to explore and refine the inner aspects of life and consciousness itself. Okay? You're going to be aware of universal interests in metaphysical subjects and clairvoyance and psychic research. That's exactly what we're seeing. That's exactly what we have been seeing. And this is where all this newer medicine's coming in and all the newer modalities that are starting to make their way onto social media. It's just beautiful to see. It's truly, truly exciting time to be alive. So with that, what I want to do is wrap up with Chiron and talk about Chiron in Aries for just a moment. I'm going to start bringing Chiron into the reading because I think that that's super, super important, and start working with this archetype more. Now, Chiron, there's a whole history. Please go out there and study who Chiron is, but it's an asteroid that was discovered, and it is considered to be the wounded healer. And it is in the 4th house, so we need to talk about it. It is sextiling Saturn. So it's working with Saturn. And it's saying, look, I can give you the staying power here, Chiron, the wounded healer, he who hurt, she who hurt so deeply inside. It's in retrograde, and it's not going, it's been in there since 2018, and it'll be in there about 8 years. I did not look when it comes out of retrograde. I probably should have done that. I need to look that up. But at any rate, 2018, we have really seen some changes here. And historically, when Chiron occupies Aries, which is what it's sitting in, this is where we saw deep changes in law that were initiated pertaining to human rights, personal freedoms, and social change. So Chiron in Aries is taking action to break free from all these restrictions and all these things that have been placed on us. And boy, are we seeing that happen with all the exposure. And, it's push to shove out there. And I don't know where all this is heading except for what I see in the stars. But on the day-to-day, let me tell you, the day-to-day is where it's at, and these psychological planets that are going to help you master these energies. But you need to know about the bigger picture, because if you don't, you kind of are just looking at the trees and you don't see the forest. And it's super important to back away. It's kind of like taking that penny away from your eye and moving it out so that you can see the bigger picture. Chiron in Aries brought about sexual revolution in the roaring 20s and during the time of Prohibition. So homosexuality was decriminalized in East Germany in 1968 and West Germany in 69, with Mexico, Guatemala, and Japan. Some states in the United States followed suit. We had the Stonewall riots, which occurred 69 in Manhattan, and the first LGBT Pride Parade in New York City in 1970. 72, we had Watergate. That scandal broke out, and it caused our president to resign from office. So these events, and even more ones that weren't mentioned, occurred intentionally under the powerful influences of Chiron in Aries. And it's going to encourage us, look, stand up in your home. It's in the 4th house. Stand up with the power that Aries is giving you and be authentically who you are in your home as an individual. If you can't be that, we'll never be able to go out where Libra is, trying to move us into this 11th house energy of others. Okay? It's not going to happen. So it's deeply personal moon, a deeply, deeply personal moon. When you have a wound in Chiron, this is feeling that you don't have a right to exist, that there's fundamentally something very wrong with you. And it causes you to be overly self-sufficient. So this moon is asking you, come on out, take care of yourself, but then come on out and be collective too. The moon sometimes doesn't like to do that, right? The moon likes to go in. And with Chiron there, oh boy, it's asking you to heal. It's asking you to heal so that you know you're lovable, so you know that you're worthy, and you know that you truly do have a right to be. So with that, I'm going to close up. And I just thank you so much for joining me. It truly is an honor and a privilege. And I'm going to put up some stones for you here that you can see so that you will know what you can do just personally that will help you in your relationship to self and in your relationship to others. And having healthy relationships, it does involve a number of factors. Okay, this is your own self-esteem and love and the ability to communicate. And they're all about the three middle chakras when it comes to relationship with self and others. And it's the solar plexus, the heart, and the throat. So using crystals that concentrate on those chakras can help strengthen your relationships. And the mantra is, I have healthy, productive, and happy relationships. Healthy, happy, productive relationships. You can use rose quartz. Highly recommend. It's one of the greatest gifts we've been given. It's unconditional love. It facilitates unconditional love. And just carry a piece with you on this full moon. Yellow, tiger's eye. To truly love another, we've got to be able to love and accept ourselves. So this is working on the solar plexus issues of self-love, and that is essential. We cannot give what we do not possess. And you can hold that tiger's eye in your hand and close your eyes and say, I love and accept myself unconditionally. And remember, when we do something for more than 70 seconds, it begins to change our vibration. Just remember that. Sometimes we want these quick microwave, fast food, drive-through fixes. It doesn't work that way. It took time to become the person you are, and it will take time to change. And know that that's all normal. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And it certainly takes time to grow that huge oak tree. That isn't done overnight. It has to weather many, many seasons and many storms. The lapis lazuli, I think I pronounced that right. That's going to improve how you communicate with loved ones. And a really good practice is to lie on your back with a piece of this crystal on your heart chakra with your rose quartz and the tiger's eye, and just place it on you and just speak that mantra. I have healthy, happy, productive relationships, and I love and accept myself unconditionally. With that, beloveds, I hope that you are going to have a wonderful full moon in Aries, and that you would know that you're supported always, always, always. We are always supported. And sometimes it's just a matter of just getting that stuff cleared out within us that changes our vision and changes our eyesight, and it moves that penny away, and it allows us to see the bigger picture. I wish you well. I wish you peace. Until next time, bye-bye.